Hello there. New Year's resolutions are a weird thing. I've never got them, and I think that if you want to do something, you should just start doing it as soon as you're able to. So with that idea in mind, instead of doing a heartwarming recap video of the past year, or even doing an advice video where I try and tell you how you can achieve all your hopes, dreams and aspirations in 2021, I would just simply recommend some of the best free game dev tools available to you at the moment. This will help you get stuff done, and it means that financials aren't a reason as to why you can't start. So you can start whenever you want to. I mean, you could be watching this video in February, I don't know. I will give an honourable mention to a couple of paid programs because I use them and I think they're really good, but there will always be a free alternative that I suggest that is just as good. I'm only suggesting them out of personal preference. Let's get the obvious one quickly out of the way first. If you want to make a game, then you're going to need a game engine. And for me, at the moment, if you want to start using a game engine, it boils down to 2 or 3 options quite quickly. If you are completely new to this, then an engine called Unity is the most popular choice for game devs at the moment, and it is free as long as you don't exceed $10,000 of revenue or funding per year, which, let's be real, none of us are doing. It has an extensive number of tutorials floating around, and it is one of the easiest platforms to get started with. For many, it is the go-to choice for both beginner and experienced game devs alike. However, if you're a bit more experienced and looking for a change, an interesting up-and-coming alternative to try out would be the open source engine that is Godot. Godot is apparently great for people with programming backgrounds, as the API exposes essentially every part of the engine. It also supports multiple languages, which means you'll hopefully already be familiar with at least one of them, and is good for both 2D and 3D development. It is also incredibly lightweight and has a really clean looking UI. It caught my attention over this past year, and I will definitely be giving it a go at some point in 2021. An honourable mention of mine goes to GameMaker. It is a paid engine, so after the 30-day free trial, it's a one-time fee and then you can basically do what you want with it. It receives regular updates and does everything I would want from a 2D engine. I've been using the GameMaker engines for a number of years now, and the cost is definitely worth it for me at least. However, be assured that this is just a personal preference of mine, and both Unity and Godot can achieve the exact same results for free. The aesthetic of a game is probably one of its most crucial parts, at least for getting people to actually play your game. People come to play your game for the aesthetics, and then they'll stay for the gameplay. Now, lots of things go into making your game look good. So in this section, I'm going to suggest a bunch of programs that will help you make great looking art, but also a couple of other resources that will really help towards that goal. This is genuinely just a free version of Photoshop. I've heard a lot of people say that GIMP confuses them and they can only use and understand Photoshop. However, for me, it's the exact opposite way round. I've only ever used GIMP for my image editing and drawing, so I natively just understand it, but Photoshop confuses me. I think it just depends on which one you start using first, so I highly recommend using the free one if you haven't already paid for Photoshop. It can do anything from high fidelity digital art to pixel art, and it is completely customizable, so it would definitely be my go-to for making 2D art of any kind. I also thought I'd give a quick shout out to Asprite. It is a one-time payment piece of software that is specifically designed for creating pixel art. I really like it, but a free tool like GIMP can achieve all of the same results, so don't feel like you have to get this. Now, I'm more familiar with 2D art than 3D art, but I have it on good authority that Blender is the program you should use if you want to do any 3D modeling for your 3D games. Colours are seriously underrated a lot of the time, especially by programmers like myself, in terms of how much they affect the feel of a game. Having a website like LowSpec that lets you quickly find and use colour palettes that are coherent and visually logical will hugely help the look of any art you decide to make. Shaders aren't quite the game art you'd be creating in the traditional sense with a digital pen and paper. They are essentially these tiny little programs that alter the way graphics are processed on your screen and help you create some amazing effects. ShaderToy acts as a visual resource for thousands of shaders that completely blow my mind. Whether you find some examples of shaders to use in your game, or you just want to look at some incredibly impressive computer-generated art, ShaderToy will have you covered. Audio is another element of game dev that is often completely overlooked. It can add so much to the juice and feel of any game. Being able to find or create good audio is incredibly important, not just for making your game, but for all of the surrounding aspects of game dev as well. Like when making trailers or devlogs, or most aspects of marketing really. So I'm going to cover another set of free tools that will hopefully cover all of those bases. I have always found Audacity to be super simple and easy to use. It is perfect for when I want to record my own sound effects in the real world, and works a treat for quickly cutting up and cleaning audio tracks. It is perfect for recording audio for devlog and game dev videos like this too. Some people consider marketing and talking about games a pretty essential part of game dev, so I thought I'd mention Audacity is just great for it as well. These programs are especially ideal for placeholder sound effects and game jams. They have loads of preset buttons that randomly generate sounds you might want to use in your games. Lightweight and free, it sits triumphantly in its niche. I think BFXR is a must-have for most indies. LMMS is a free tool for creating music. Music production is a whole hobby and profession of its own that seems to operate in a lot of similar ways to the game dev circles. As a result, there are tons of expensive music production softwares out there. However, as game devs, we are having to stretch our budgets across so many different disciplines, it's nice to have a free option available to us. LMMS offers a whole range of really good quality music creation tools and can be a great introductory software for people wanting to make music for the first time, especially since it's free. I have created a whole video teaching the basics of making your first track using LMMS, so you can check that out to get started with it. Sometimes we just quickly need some backing music to go with our project. Whether you're making a YouTube video or a game jam game, some royalty-free music can often be a reasonable, quick or temporary fix to the problem. My go-to source for royalty-free music is the YouTube audio library, and it surprises me how many people still don't know about it. You can filter by many moods and genres and generally find something that is in the vague ballpark of what you're looking for. It also has a sound effects section, which to be honest I found a lot less useful, but it is there, which is good I suppose. Making videos may not seem like it's directly required for making games, and that's because generally it isn't. However, it is vitally important in helping you promote and share your creations with other people, and so having the tools to do this effectively is incredibly important. Whether you're sharing GIFs on Twitter and Reddit or uploading full devlogs to YouTube, you'll want to use these tools to help you create good quality videos effectively. OBS is a multi-purpose free piece of software that can be used for both live streaming and recording video. It's super lightweight and I almost always have it open. You can bind screen record to a hotkey so you can easily and quickly record the footage you want to share without a massive setup process. OBS is just one of those pieces of software that has always worked reliably for me and has never given me any problems. DaVinci Resolve is what I use for video editing. This is just another one of those things that isn't directly involved with making a game itself, but if you want to make trailers, devlogs, and clips to show other people, then learning some basic video editing skills will go a long way. I've endlessly heard people complain about paid versions of video editing software, which is just a complaint I am not familiar with because I've always used DaVinci Resolve. It is an incredible piece of editing software that does literally everything I need it to do, easily and intuitively. There are plenty of tutorials on YouTube showing you how to use its functions and features, and I genuinely couldn't recommend anything better than this. I have covered a whole host of different free tools that I use on an almost daily basis during my game dev efforts, but there are definitely loads of other really useful tools out there that I won't have mentioned today. So if you know of any of these different tools that could help us boost our productivity and make great games, then feel free to leave them in the comments to help us all out. I try to make a guide, devlog, or just generally development related video every Friday, so subscribe to this channel if you want to keep getting content like this. Follow me on Twitter for more frequent updates about my videos and the games I make, and join the Discord where we talk about ideas for the games I'm making as well as just general other stuff too. And with all that said, until next time, goodbye.